Who's that coming down the drive? Who's that coming down the drive? It's a rainbow sheet and red and white. Rainbow sheet and red and white. Ain't nothing finer in the rain. Ain't nothing finer in the rain. Little Georgia marching straight to bed. Marching straight to bed. Let 'em up. Let 'em up.
What's up, y'all? This is John and Mike back for another episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. Tonight, we are talking about the hottest seats in college football, and we have some fun categories of kind of who we're breaking down here. But I feel like I'm missing some announcements. Uh, no, we should. We should be. Yeah,
I
no,
didn't.
we're
I didn't hear. Are we?
yeah, yeah.
So I didn't hear the thing. I don't see. I don't see anything on my end.
It says we are.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I was just talking to Mike before we got on. Every piece of software that we use to record and edit and post the podcast has updated in the last 24 hours. Nothing is in the same spot, and I had to look for all of the buttons. Um, and then he thought it wasn't recording. It is. Apparently, Zoom just doesn't tell other people that you're recording anymore.
So it's like an agent of the U.S. government now. That's cool. Okay, let's go.
No. It's HR. It's HR trying to make sure that the employees don't know they're being recorded.
There we go. If Zoom wasn't already bad enough.
Right. But anyways, I feel like we're missing something, but I can't think of it. So how you been? What are you drinking?
I've been better. I won't get into why I'm mad. I got a piece of something in the mail a little bit before we got on, and I'm gonna have to deal with that tomorrow. But very, very mad about that. And as soon as we start recording, everyone comes up here and asks me for stuff. But how about you?
I'm pretty good, man. We went to Daytona this past weekend with our friends Vaughn and Emily, who you and your family have met a couple of times. Stopped and got some fresh flounder one night and did a little fish fry. Went to the
There we
beach,
go.
and Florida does beaches so much better than we do. You're able to drive on the beach, park, just pop out your chairs, grill on the beach, dogs on the beach. In Georgia, you get a $300 ticket for vaping. Like,
Oh,
but in Florida, you can grill on the beach with your dog. In the state of Georgia, if a cop saw you grilling on the beach with your dog, they would
yeah.
probably just ATF style shoot you and your dog.
I mean, it is the free state of Florida. We went down to Jacksonville yesterday for a little bit to do some just kind of get all my birthday freebies from before the month ended. But yeah, no, I get that. Florida does beaches better. I mean, there's no denying that.
And I got sunburnt in like a 2 square inch section in the middle of my back that my shoulders are not mobile enough to get to.
Mhm.
And it's not very sunburnt, so it just kind of itches, which is the worst. And I can't reach it. So if you see me grabbing just random stuff off of the desk here in an attempt to itch my back, don't mind me. But getting into the hottest seats in college football, and we are starting with the hottest, which we have named already crispy. The timer is just broken. Um, this is like, put it like this. These are like the fries you get at the end of a McDonald's batch. They're like a quarter, like maybe half an inch long and just straight black burnt to a crisp. Like make everything around it worse. These are those coaches. Number one, Luke Fickle. And so for these, I should have said this before. So for these, I did current buyout after 2026, and then tried to add a couple bullet points or more of just reasoning. And so for Luke
Mhm.
Fickle, $25 million buyout now drops 13.6 million after 2026. He has a 17 and 21 total record. Their last bowl game was in 2023 and they lost.
and it's Wisconsin ran into the same thing that Michigan did about what 15 or so years ago when they hired Rich Rod and did a whole different offense. Uh, yeah, it's just not gonna work. But you know, it's what it is.
Yeah, and it's tough because from everything everyone has ever said, Luke Fickell's a great guy, and he's a great coach depending on the school. Um, so I think he will go be a coordinator somewhere, like a higher profile coordinator somewhere for a couple of years, get back into coaching in the right place, um, and then go from there. But Caleb did add in some notes for this, and he's got a Tillman. Let's make this guy an analyst scale, 1 to 10, and he's got Luke Fickell at a 7. So does he
I would
take the
love to. I
Dan
would love.
Mullen route?
Listen, I would love to have Luke Fickell on staff, not on field, but just kind of there, just in the wings, waiting to do something. So I'm sure, like if he does end up getting fired, he might take a year off, even though that buyout isn't like super big. Although we both clip off that. Um,
Depends.
I would kill for $13.5 million right now. Um, but yeah, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Just saw those dollar signs.
And the next one we've got is Mike Loxley. And some of these schools made it extremely difficult to figure out what the buyout is. Um, but according to what I found, is $13 million currently, and it will stay at $13 million after 2026. At Maryland, he does have a 37-49 record, and he has his first back-to-back seasons with no bowl games. To be fair, though, he had two really good seasons, and then just kind of 500 or less football outside of that. So
Yeah, having Tua's brother at quarterback, even though he's not great, he's been the best quarterback they probably had. I mean, I'm not a big Maryland football guy, but I'm sure he's probably the best quarterback they've had this century. Um,
probably, and the thing is, they had such good wide receivers for so long.
mhm,
They had a Stephon Diggs. It seemed like
yeah,
every year.
hmm like what Vernon Davis and guys like that, just a bunch of guys, bunch of skill guys, but you can never just put it together. But yeah, it's tough. 37-49 is bad.
Um, and then Caleb Tillman. Let's make this guy an analyst scale. We got 2 out of 10 for Mike Loxley. I agree. It seems like he's not really recruiting off of his personality very often.
I was gonna say, I don't even know what is Mike Locksley? Is he offensive guy, defensive guy, or just like a guy?
So he was an Alabama offensive coordinator under, I want to say he was like like not the guy before, but the guy before Kiffin.
Okay, so the joyless murder ball
Yeah.
type stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Notably cannot do at
Maryland.
Big Ten schools. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
they're not going to outmuscle anybody or out talent anybody more than likely.
no,
Out of
absolutely
Maryland.
not. Um, And then I'm actually trying to add another name at the last minute that I just thought of, so I'm gonna have to go back and forth. All right, so the next category we have, and I'm sure there's other guys just across the country that are already fired, just dead men walking. But there was a lot of coaching turnover in this past season, so I would say it's a lot tougher to just find the very obvious they're about to get fired guys right now, except
Yeah.
for the two less than rich Big Ten programs that just don't want to fire their guy.
Yeah.
Um, so next category we got is called Tinderbox. Just needs a spark. One of those guys that if they don't do great against the nobodies and then, man, just drop a game they shouldn't and the coach says the wrong thing, one more loss.
Mm.
Like you are a bad press conference and a loss from just being done.
And some of
Um,
these guys might be just a bad spring game performance, uninspired, maybe being out, man. That's yeah. These two guys. Ooh.
yes, absolutely. Um, So, the first guy I have is Shane Beamer, who his current buyout's $27.9 million, drops to 22.1 million after 2026. Um, I think this is one of those where he's got to recreate 2024 if he
Mm.
wants to keep his job. Um, so he's got a 33 and 30 total record at South Carolina, 16 and 24 total against the SEC, 2 and 3 against Clemson, 0 and 4 against Georgia. And so the issue is that he has the same problem every single year. Like
Yeah.
offense stuck in the mud, except for 2024 with Lenore Sellers. Offensive line is bad every single year. Like there's nothing he has been able to do to make the offensive line any better. Whether it's getting guys out of the portal, whether it's paying guys he currently has, whether it's getting 4 stars from high school. And he always says, "Oh, well, it doesn't help that we had 3 out of our 4 starters go down at the beginning of the season." Correct. But your lack of recruiting is why you don't have somebody behind them.
Mm.
Um, the offensive coordinator hires and the fact that he's gone through 3 in 3 years, concerning. But I would say the biggest hit on Shane Beamer should actually be how little he has done with his defense.
Yeah.
Because since he got hired at South Carolina, he's had probably 10 NFL starters on the defensive side of the ball.
Mm.
Like he has a guy that was just one of the best players on the defense that won the Super Bowl as a rookie.
Yeah.
And that guy, nobody knew that guy before the combine. And, I understand that Shane Beamer is an aggregator of coaches and not necessarily a position coach himself, special teams guy, but the fact that it's a consistent, same exact problem year in and year out, like, I truly believe that he's destined for being a Virginia Tech assistant.
Yeah, if you listen to Connor's interview with him, I mean, he keeps a lot of stuff, and he, obviously followed a lot of Virginia Tech stuff. He talked a lot about that, so I think he's kind of putting feelers out there for that because I think he probably knows that this is probably it, unless, like you said, he finds that 2024 magic somehow or another.
Um, yeah, and so the other tinderbox candidate also, honestly, if it were not for the buyout, would probably have been already crispy.
Hmm.
Mike Norvell, and the
Yeah.
buyout is $59 million currently, but it does drop um, to $51 million after this season.
Yeah. And FSU's relatively poor for a Power Four program, one that likes to think of themselves as a power anyway. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's tough. The ACC TV contract's not helping them right now.
and I think if Florida State was able to get out of the ACC and go to another school or another conference, that I think that would make a lot more sense.
Hmm.
Like I do think they would be a better team in other conferences because I think could recruit to what they used to be and in another conference.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But it's currently rough, man. It's rough for Florida State. His enterprise rent-a-player service has soured because he hasn't been able to hit on more elite players from Albany that are first-round draft picks. I think there's probably only like one a decade,
Yeah,
and
probably.
and he just happened to find that guy. And
Hmm.
my next note here is he's a dead man walking. They're just a poverty athletic department.
Yeah, facts.
Um, so I mean, unless they can sell out a banana ball game once a week for the rest of the offseason, like dude, they can't afford to fire Mike Norvell. So they're just
Yeah.
going to continue to be a poverty program until they do. Which sucks for
Mm.
them. It also sucks for the fact that Georgia and Florida State were supposed to play a home and home series this decade,
Hmm.
and that home and home series was one of the reasons that I got season tickets because I was excited. Florida State, they're always on the cusp of coming back. Um,
Yeah.
I think they finally reached Tennessee levels of coming back.
It doesn't feel like 13 though, or whatever year they last won.
Ah, all right. Next category here, I've got. Um, I get it, but come on, look at your history, which pretty self-explanatory. I think this is actually our biggest category.
Hmm.
And I'm actually about to throw another. I'm throwing the next guy in the next category. We have
Oh, but I will say real quick, I
yeah.
just looked it up. Georgia and Florida State have not canceled as of yet.
What year is it supposed to be?
27 is the first year. That's at that's in Tallahassee. I don't know when the return trip is.
So fun fact:
28.
if I was gonna say if you look at every home and home series Georgia has scheduled, they play at the other school first
Hmm.
because I think that's what it takes for a lot of these schools to actually sign up to play Georgia. Um,
Right.
but then a lot of them it'll be like 27, skip 28, and then play again in 29.
Yeah, I think that's what. No, I was thinking of Michigan and Oklahoma. But yeah.
And I think that is honestly so that these schools could potentially bounce out of the game if they choose to do so. Um,
Hmm.
but you know that's a very biased take. But I don't know if I said this. Caleb Tillman's let's make this guy an analyst scale. It's 1 out of 10 for Mike Norvell. Nobody wants to hear about how they got screwed in 2023. And
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike,
Norvell.
we're talking about the NFL draft in 2029. Why are you bringing up 2023 season?
Yeah, Mike Norvell is just culture cancer at this point.
Yes. So the getting into the I get it, but come on, look at your history. We got Bill O'Brien, the Boston College head coach.
Butt
Um,
chin.
but Chin Bill estimated buyout because it's a private school is $25 million would right now, and that would drop to $20 million. Um, and I will say the issue that I think Boston College has is every 5 years or so they have a good to great season,
Hmm.
and that raises the expectations for the freshmen who have never actually watched a football game before getting on campus. And there's an upswelling of support for the football program, and they go back to their average, which is bad. And
Hmm.
all of those guys who are now making $150,000 a year and donating to the football program, uh, as soon as they get out of college, get mad about it.
Yeah.
Like Matt Ryan's not walking back through that door yet.
Do you I was just about to say it.
But Bill O'Brien does not have a history of making great relationships with star players or people. Um, he just seems to be an extremely abrasive individual, Bill O'Brien. I will say he also doesn't adapt well as a head coach. He had Tommy Castellanos at quarterback and then expected to run the exact same system with a significantly less athletic quarterback this past year. It didn't work out very well. And then just in general, Bill O'Brien sucked in the NFL as a head coach and general manager. And then the thing about college football now is you have to be a head coach and general manager. There's no way to be a head coach in college football without being a general manager. So he's not going to be good at it. And then Caleb Tillman's let's make this guy an analyst scale. He's got Bill at a 9 out of 10, which, be honest, surprises me quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then next off, we have another private school, Dave Aranda, estimated because it's a private school with even less information made public. His buyout between this year and next year is somewhere between 12 and $20 million. That is,
That's not bad.
yeah, that's doable, but that's all the information that we're able to get is somewhere between 12 and 20. Um,
Mhm.
Baylor has been an afterthought most years in the Big 12, and the problem is the years they're good, they're great.
Yeah.
Like Baylor doesn't have mid seasons. Either they're like on the cusp of 500, one way or the other, or they're 10-2.
Mhm. Yeah, they had a
And
couple seasons in there during the playoff era where they had argument to get in.
right, it's one of those like they were 11-1 and lost the Big 12 title game. Is the reason they weren't in that a number of times.
Hmm.
Um, I will say my thoughts on Dave Aranda is the last couple of seasons Baylor has been like Arkansas with Sam Pittman. And how are you one of the greatest defensive scheme guys in the country and your defense sucks?
Right.
Or like how Sam Pittman had bad offensive lines at Arkansas. Like how? Like you at one point were considered the best in the country at this. How do you suck?
Yeah.
Um, David Randa, also hot take here, appears to be like he appears to be autistic like us. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that by saying uh, he
He loves
doesn't
football.
seem to build relationships. He likes to sit in a film room, tell people what they're doing wrong, which doesn't lend well to recruiting.
Right.
Like they paid DJ Lagway an ass ton of money, and then DJ Lagway got on campus for like 2 days and was like, "Hey, anybody else out there? No, 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 nobody wants. All right, I guess I'm gonna stay here."
Yeah.
And that's not a good look.
Mm-mm. No. You would
Next
think Chip
up,
and Joanna Gaines would care more about Baylor football. Give them even more money.
you'd think. I mean, there's like four of those type of shows in the
Hmm.
Baylor area. They need to do something with it. Um,
Sure, for sure.
Deion Sanders, and this is not Deion's history. This is Colorado's history that we're talking about here. But his buyout is $33 million, drops down to 26.6 after 2026. And without his kids, he's losing all the star players. And players are speaking out negatively about how he runs the program. Literally, the quote that I saw today, I will actually pull it up here because it fit perfectly with what we were talking about. Um, at Colorado, it felt like a high school circus. It was time for me to go somewhere that takes football seriously. 5-star offensive tackle Jordan Seaton. This man is saying that he would rather play for. This man is saying that Lane Kiffin takes football more seriously than Colorado. It's not a good look for
Yeah.
Dion. Um, and also, his star players have kind of been exposed in the NFL. Like a lot of people said, Shedeur should have gotten more chances this past year, mid at best when he was playing.
Hey, Shedeur was a Pro Bowler. Never forget.
Honestly, man, with the amount of people that just bow out because they don't pay enough to risk losing a season of game checks, like I think you and I could be practice squad players and make a Pro Bowl. It
Which
doesn't
is
mean
basically what
anything anymore.
Shedeur is.
Fair. Uh,
I mean, he's
but
about to lose
also,
his job to Deshaun Watson. He's the front runner right now, from what I heard this morning.
uh, what did Travis Hunter do this year in the NFL?
I think he was hurt probably 3/4 of the year.
Right, because this man's like 6'2" and 180 pounds.
Yeah, let's put him out there 100 and something plays a game.
Right. Not only is he small, but he got cooked when he was in at corner, and they're like, "Hey, man, we're just gonna put you in at wide receiver," and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
So
And now Jacksonville doesn't have a first round pick.
yeah, that's tough. Caleb Tillman's let's make this guy an analyst scale. 0 out of 10. I don't necessarily disagree.
I mean, unless Dion has some more kids coming up that we don't know about, yeah, it's gonna be a no for me.
Dion, and boy, this can be taken very, very wrong in the wrong direction. Dion sounds like a smooth talking Thad Castle with how much he hypes himself up
Yeah, that's probably fair.
and how everything is like a metaphor. I'm coming up and I'm bringing my own luggage and it's Louis and it's like, yeah, man, you're moving across the country. Of course you're bringing luggage. Like, what are you even talking about?
Right.
It's like, oh no, you're actually just bringing your son, an adopted son, who
Mhm.
are going to be. Well, Travis Hunter was great in college, but Shadur
Yeah.
was bailed out quite a bit.
He got his number
We
retired.
do what?
So he got it. Both of them got their numbers retired in Colorado, which is still funny.
Yeah, they should take Shadur's retired number, that many millions of dollars out of the buyout.
They'll, I was gonna say they'll unretire it once Deion's fired or retires or whatever.
More
I'm
than
sure.
likely.
Yeah.
And next category we've got is who else are you going to get? First off, we have Bill Belichick.
Hmm.
And man, this is his agent has to be what the agent for everybody who always gets the big, good contracts.
Not Scott Boras. That's baseball.
No,
Oh my God. To's agent.
um,
Uh, oh my God.
it was Nick Saban's agent and
Jimmy
Kirby's.
Sexton.
Jimmy
Sexton.
Sexton.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick has to be a client of Jimmy Sexton because you know what Bill Belichick's contract is?
What?
It's $10 million a year, 100% guaranteed for a guy that has never coached in the college football level. Uh, he after the 2025 season, he has 3 more seasons fully guaranteed. No, 2 more seasons fully guaranteed. So $30 million
Hmm.
this year. Next year,
Oh, his agent's Drew Rosenhaus. That's who I was thinking.
okay, yeah, that also tracks.
Yeah.
But I was completely wrong about what I just said. I was thinking about somebody else. No, Bill Belichick's his buyout's just $30 million until the end of his contract. It's just
Yeah.
which his contract ends in 2027, which could be a reason they're struggling to recruit right now, but that's kind of beside the point. Um,
Well, he's already 70 years old or 71, whatever he is, right?
right. I mean, if I was writing a contract for a long-term job that I expected Bill Belichick to sign, there would be a death clause of we like I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you have kids. When you die, this contract is over.
Yeah. No
Um,
settlement.
for Bill Belichick, I have 50% of his problem is that his girlfriend allegedly runs the program and her recreational cheerleading squad. And then 50% of his problem is everything else. The offense, trash. The defense, trash. Special teams, trash. Like, how have you been the best coach in the NFL for the better part of 20 years and then just get to college and nothing matters anymore?
At this point, I'm starting to think Bill Belichick is not a very good coach. He was just lucky to hit on Tom Brady, just hit on a 6th round pick.
Almost like it's really. I always said that Brady was a product of Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
Starting to
maybe not.
rethink that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because I mean Brady wasn't even good at. Well, I don't know. I don't know. He wasn't great at Michigan either. I don't know.
Michigan's a very difficult place for a quarterback to play well, and if they don't play well at Michigan, chances are they're actually a good quarterback.
I mean, that's look at Tom Brady.
Yeah, look at Tom Brady, and then
Yeah,
look at J.J. McCarthy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and the next guy that I've got here, and this, eh, I I've struggled with this. I thought about putting it in, and then I didn't, and then we got on here, and I decided to go ahead and put him in. I had Kenny Dillingham,
Hmm.
and the main reason I say that is because he had a 2024 electric season, like
Hmm.
all-time season for Arizona State, and then And then they just go to last year of where the offensive line sucked, so they couldn't get the running game going. They couldn't keep Sam Levitt healthy. And then after this season, they don't make a big splash in the recruiting or in the portal, and Sam Levitt leaves and is entertaining offers from everywhere but Arizona State.
Yeah.
And then you look back at like how he's done in total at Arizona State. 22 and 17 overall record in his 3 seasons. His first season, 3 and 9 in the Pac-12, 2 and 7 in conference games.
Eek.
2024, obviously 11 and 3 overall, 7 and 2 in Big 12, won the Big 12, played in the college football playoff. If referees understood the targeting rule, Arizona State goes on to the next round of the college football playoff.
Yeah.
And then in 2025, 8 and 5 overall, 6 and 3 in the Big 12, finishing tied for fourth in the conference. It's not good when he had almost as many wins in 2024 as he had combined in his other 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's not great.
No, he had more. I'm stupid. I added that
Oh.
wrong. Yeah, no, he had 11 wins in 2024 and a total of 9 wins in his other 2 seasons combined.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right. So not a great look. Um, and then you look at his buyout. So Kenny Dillingham, his buyout, if he's fired right now, $24.7 million. It's a lot. Arizona State
Yeah.
is not known to have a big sports budget. Football is
Right.
kind of it for Arizona State. And then you look at what it would be if he was fired after 2026. Still $24.7 million.
Damn.
Another guy that's just got to be a Jimmy Sexton client.
That is a good. I'm gonna check that out while you're talking.
Um, Bill Belichick. Anyways, the Caleb Tillman make this guy an analyst scale hit for Bill is 10 out of 10 because it would be funny. He would just roast people the entire time with that deadpan voice, never raising or lowering, always in this cadence. Just, oh yeah, we didn't draft that guy because he was trash in college. Anyways, and then,
Kenny Dillingham is younger than I am. That's oh my god.
well,
And his
how many?
agent is Clint Dowdle. I don't know who that is.
Great job, Clint. I don't know how you manage these buyout numbers, but it's great job.
Hmm.
But that's kind of why he's in the who else are you going to get category because that's the that's one of the best seasons in the history of the Arizona State program. 11 and
Right.
3, almost made it to a national championship game. So then you turn around and like he's got a bad season. Sure, he's probably got 2 or 3 more in the tank before it's a real conversation about how much they're gonna pay him to leave. Um, and a big part of that is I would take Kenny Dillingham over a lot of other guys in college football right now.
Hmm.
And Arizona State's not going to pony up the money to take somebody from another school.
Right.
Um, and then the last category we have is pseudo hot take. These have been floated around, and some people have called it crazy. And then you kind of look into it, and you're like, is it actually that crazy? For this category, we call it it's not the heat, it's the humidity.
They get you.
Um, and the first, ooh, I got like 4 notifications at the same time, completely threw me off. First name, Steve Sarkisian.
Ooh.
Um, he's really only had one great season as a head coach at Texas.
He's had 2 playoff years.
Okay, two. They kind of get
Yeah.
combined into one.
Well, I mean, one of them was the 14 playoff, and then the other was, I mean,
And in the Big 12.
what?
So,
Yeah. 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 It doesn't really count. Oh,
right. But so, and here's where I'm coming from that. because I understand there's going to be a lot of pushback. There's going to be a lot of people that tell me I'm crazy.
Mm.
But Texas fans have been through a lot since 2010. Hell, they've been through a lot since 2020, right?
Right.
5-7 in 2021 should have beaten Alabama in that year to make a bowl game. In 2021, they should have beaten an Alabama team. Nope, that's 2022, right? I don't. Time's not real. It's running together, and I'm
A
thinking
flat
about.
circle.
I'm looking up stats as I am talking about this here, which is not helping. Anyways, Texas fans been through a lot at the beginning of this season, or this decade. 5-7. At one
Hmm.
point in this decade, they've almost played for a national championship twice. That's pretty significant. But they've tasted the playoffs. They've had elite offensive and defensive numbers, and now they're back to acting like they're God's gift football, which I I probably should have. You know what? It's not the heat, it's the humidity is actually perfect for this category because it's not the actual play, it's the fans.
Yeah.
And where I'm going with this is what happens if they pay Arch all of this money and get a ridiculous portal class just to miss the playoff for a second year in a row?
Hmm.
Like, what if the running game sucks again, or the offensive line sucks, or the wide receivers suck? And here's the thing: all of those things, questions I just asked, could be and or. Like, it could be,
Yeah.
what if the running game sucks and the line sucks and the wide receivers suck? Like, all those are options. And we saw Arch play terribly against some bad competition last year and some good competition last year. So a lot of these things would not surprise me. Um, but the question that I get to with Steve Sarkisian is how many more times can he have excuses? How many more times can he fail to meet expectations with one of the most expensive rosters in the history of the sport and just be like, oh, man, if y'all donate like another $10 million, we'll run it back next year.
Right.
And then next one, Dame landing. I don't like it,
Right.
but $55 million buyout drops 44 after this year. And here's the thing: it's honestly the kind of the same reason as Steve,
Hmm.
because Dame Landing, he doesn't have any more excuses. Like I think he's getting close to play for and or win a national title or start having serious conversations. Like I
Hmm.
think that's where he's getting to.
Yeah.
And especially with the this is gonna sound awful, like I'm just trying to trash the kid. He got Bo Nix out of the portal, right? Like a five
Hmm.
star, good to great at Auburn, and then Auburn got bad. He left
Yeah.
Heisman contender, and then went to Dante Moore, good to great in high school, pretty good at a terrible school, transfers to Oregon, sits, waits, becomes the guy, has a pretty good year, right? Like I don't think anybody would say that Dante Moore had the best year against good competition.
Yeah, he was like a very dark horse candidate for Heisman. People talked about him. I mean, I never really got behind that, but his name was floated out there.
Right.
He's on a good team.
And then, they had the year of Dylan Gabriel being a mercenary, for lack
Hmm.
of a better term. I mean, Dylan Gabriel was an elite quarterback that they paid to come in for 1 year and bridge the gap.
Yeah.
You can do that in this day and age, but you go from Bo Nix to your next guy is Dante Moore, who thought he was not developed enough to be the second quarterback off the board in the NFL. And he's coming back with a lot less talent around him. He's missing multiple pass catchers. The offensive line is going to probably take a little bit of a step back. And then you get over to the
Hmm.
defensive side of the ball. Of how many points did they give up to James Madison? I understand they kind of ran away with that game, but
Hmm.
Oregon in the playoffs have not performed all that well. And it just kind of gets down to the same thing on the opposite side of the ball of the Steve Sarkisian conversation. How many more times are you going to have an excuse of, hey guys, we just need another $40 million roster, and then we're going to compete for titles.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard sell going forward if they don't start winning in January,
Right.
consistently at least.
And that's kind of where the contender hot seat conversation starts. Is we know how much these fans and boosters are paying for these rosters. If you don't start doing something with it, a lot of tough conversations are going to start happening.
Right.
Like if Texas Tech misses the playoff next year, doesn't win a big playoff game next year, tough conversations.
Yeah.
But
Did you? I was gonna say, did you see? I think I saw something earlier today. Dylan Raiola, they were talking about him at Oregon and all that. He's going to be Dante Moore's backup. At least that's what he should be. At least. Um,
that's
apparently
where
he
I was
didn't
trying to go with
call.
that quarterback conversation. I forgot.
Yeah. Apparently he's wearing number 8. So
Just
he didn't.
the least self-aware person on the planet.
Well, you know what's even worse is that he called Dylan Gabriel and asked permission to wear it, not Marcus Mariota.
Not the guy that actually won the Heisman.
Right, just the guy that had stats at what
Four.
UCF. Yeah,
Four. I'm pretty sure it's
well,
four different schools.
he was all over the place. Yeah. But he asked. Well, I take that back. So he asked Dylan Gabriel, and then he's like, "Oh, actually, do you have Marcus Mariota's number?" So he got it, after the fact. Not that wasn't the first guy he thought of.
Man, I Patrick Mahomes is thanking whatever God he believes in that Texas Tech paid Brendan Sorsby instead
Yeah.
of Dylan Raiola.
Yes.
So,
Oh man.
all right. That's gonna do it for this episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. We're gonna be putting out some graphics of this, and hopefully, if we accidentally rage bait more people like we did with the toughest place to play, because I don't like I actually put the spreadsheet in the post, and people just chose to ignore it and act like we left Tennessee off for a reason when there was clear and obvious minimum criteria. So,
What do you mean we have to win to make it a tough place to play?
right.
What do you?
Like,
I don't get it.
yeah, like LSU fans big mad in the comments, and it's like, wait, you guys just like y'all fired your second coach this decade, and you're claiming that you're a tough place to play because you lose? I don't.
Well,
All
okay,
right.
well, maybe the criteria wasn't clear. Tough place to play for the home team? Yeah, Tennessee up there, LSU up there, sure. Really hard to play at home.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna put some graphics out, so y'all go get mad at it there. After you listen to the full episode on Spotify or Apple, and then YouTube, and then leave comments in both of those places to boost us up in the algorithm, because that's all it does when y'all get mad at us.
Hmm.
But follow us on Instagram at nothing.finder.pod, on Twitter at FinderPod, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Just look us up and you will find us there. Most importantly, y'all remember there is nothing finer in the land.
And a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan.